how to get ChatGPT to recommend your brand over competitors. So I want to do a bit of a role play on this where there's a brand that they want to get recommended in ChatGPT. And at present, when they go and search for the keyword, ChatGPT is listing 5 of their competitors' brands.
Okay.
This business has been going for a long time. They've got a good brand. They've got a good entity. They've got everything that makes them the best brand that there is for the service that they offer. Yet ChatGPT is not recommending them, and they're recommending the competition. I want you to jump straight into the AI reputation tree, and someone comes along and fills in the form. What is it that the AI reputation tree specifically does to get that brand to then quickly get recommended by ChatGPT over the competition?
So it operates like a query fan out model. So what that essentially does is it works out all of the different nuances around the brand and what people in, with synthetic terms and things are typing into search, and with all the synthetic keywords that it creates a list of elements that you should be mentioning online. Now, chances are, if it's a strong brand, it's probably already done element 1, which is, defining who they are. But I can almost guarantee number 2 is they've done a good job at mentioning what services they do. Chances are they've done it in the wrong way, meaning that they haven't, used the microsemantics side. They haven't defined it clearly and connected the entity with the service offering. They've probably, most business owners who own websites probably have an about page that say, I do this, we do this. It doesn't say James Dooley's Plastering is a plastering company. James Dooley's Plastering, was founded in such and such or whatever. It doesn't go into all these like little nuanced details, which is actually megally important. And then I'm almost off the back of that, almost 100% confident that they'll probably lack reviews, or they're not shouting about those reviews online. They're not doing case studies. They've probably not went and done awards. And then lastly, they probably also don't mention competitors, which again, on connecting the dots together, like AI understands what an entity is, but then it also understands that, let's say the entity is your brand, and then this service is also an entity, it's a plastering, that is a service. It then needs to understand, well, with that, if you're just doing plastering and this service, who else is doing plastering? If you're connecting these together, and then it all links back to the plastering node, then it starts to say, oh, well, these guys clearly must do plastering. And that's like the old school methodology was, well, why would I promote a competitor? Well, you don't have to promote a competitor. You can do it in a way where you're promoting yourself only, but it's sort of saying, you're better at this, you're better at that. Just leave what you're not better at, because there might be elements, most business owners are always striving to improve. And that's how, personally, I would be looking at using the AI reputation tree, is looking at the way to improve your presence in ChatGPT.
When someone fills in the form for the AI reputation tree on Searcheroo, how important is it that they fill everything in? So, like, it's a big quiz. There's a lot of questions. At times, do I really need to fill all these in? I know the importance of it, and I understand that in an ideal world, every single question, they could answer it with that hyper-specific data of who they are, what they do, the reviews, the testimonials, where they might have certain things being done, what case studies and who they've done work for, if they have any awards, listing every single award of what they have, even from a few years ago, to be shouting and screaming about it so they're an award-winning company.
Yeah.
Then listing all of them competitors, which then allows Searcheroo to then go and do the keyword research about them brands, to then go and then start to say, do you offer this service? Oh yeah, we do, but we missed that. And I'm like, all right, okay, cool. Now can we integrate that? Because it gets a lot of search volume. And can we say why you might be better than them at that service? Yes, you can. How important is it? Because I want to go hard on that, of the importance. The more information we get with regards to AI, it really is garbage in and garbage out. If they don't provide us with the information that we can't feed to the LLMs, it's like getting a salesperson and giving them half the information of why you are the best. So then they don't sound very confident on the phone. And when that salesperson doesn't sound confident,
He doesn't sell.
They don't sell. So explain that, how the AI is your first port of call. It is your business card. It is that very first impression. And the point is that you don't get a second chance at a first impression. So how important is that form to make certain that you feed us with everything so that reputation tree is the perfect sales call? It is so confident that we are the best and that ChatGPT is saying we are the best. How important is that form?
Like vital. Basically, LLMs will not promote ambiguity. And they need information to be clear, concise, and confident that the information they're putting out is correct. Or what you leave is a nice big gap for it to hallucinate, or for a competitor to step in and feed that for you and give it almost, disinformation. So the reason why you need to give us all of the information is because then when we start putting out in third-party sources, especially if you give us plenty of competitors, we can go into competitors and say, what is the AI asking about these? I wonder why that's different. Oh, maybe we should include these set of questions about your brand because these have actually been around a little bit longer online or been doing a better job, and this is the consensus around theirs. So let's tick that box early and fill in that consensus there.
Yeah, for sure. And then with regards to being cited with ChatGPT, if someone was to order the reputation tree, but they're in a competitive market, right? So they do genuinely believe they are the best. And they've done the first round of who they are. They've defined the entity, what they do. They define all the services that they do. The reputation, they've gone and shouted and screamed about some of the reviews and the testimonials, some comparative articles and some listicles. And they've got in there, they've got themselves cited, and they're happy that the AI citations now is citing them, but they're number 5 on the list. How important is consensus? How going through a second round and a third round of that? So you're defining it even more. So you've got even more confidence and clarity to ChatGPT that's scraping the internet that then basically turns around to move that up. How important is consensus of repeating that and building that up?
When you go on Amazon and you're buying a product, do you look at the reviews?
Yeah.
If you see, Amazon's got 1 billion products, let's say I'm buying a bottle of a drinking bottle, and the first result has 1,000 reviews, 5-star. Second result has 2,000 reviews, 5-star. And the third result has 4.6, 100 reviews. Which one are you most likely to click on?
Yeah, the one with the most reviews and the highest score.
Reviews and the highest score. That is exactly what consensus is. So the more third-party sources around the brand mention qualifying exactly what has been mentioned in its understanding, increases its confidence score and the consensus around the brand.
So I've got a follow-on question on that, right? I completely agree with it, by the way, right? But let's say they have lots of Trustpilot reviews. Yeah. Could, if they, at that present time, they can't go and get more reviews on Trustpilot or Google Business Profile or getting them on Yelp and on Yelp, all these places are helping. Glassdoor, go and get reviews on there. Again, It all helps. Could, within the reputation tree, you extrapolate and export the 5-star reviews, go putting them on trusted sources, on guest posts, on press releases and stuff like that? Would that feed into the consensus? Yep. It does.
Yeah, 100%.
So then by doing that, the AI reputation tree from Searcheroo can build the consensus up without needing to go and ask all the... So sometimes there's certain customers and they shout and scream about how great you are. You go and ask them to leave a review and not very technical.
No.
And they don't have a Trustpilot and they can't leave you the review.
Or they just leave a 5-star.
No
Content. No content.
Yeah. So within that within the AI reputation tree, it's able to amplify everything of what they have at present, build that consensus up, which then helps them get cited more and recommended more within ChatGPT. I just want to close out by saying, how important is it in the AI era to start looking at LLM visibility? on this one, we're specifically talking about ChatGPT, but how important is it to be looking at audits and making certain that you are tracking and monitoring where you are or where you're not being cited within ChatGPT and working on those gaps?
I know we did a video on this recently on brand mention and tracking and LLM tracking and things. So like if you want, watch that video. Obviously, we'll delve into it a lot deeper in there. But it's like one of the most fundamental things you can do right now is set your brand up on some type of brand monitoring software, because unlike before where you needed backlinks and you could pick up in these softwares a backlink has been made, you don't need a backlink for a mention. They might not link to you at all. Chances are, if it's a competitor, they're probably not going to. They're just going to mention your brand. And then if that is a negative sentiment around your brand, you want to be aware that that's going on and you want to counteract that. So yeah, it's fundamental nowadays within the LLM industry.
Yeah, for sure. Anyone who's watching this, if you're a business owner and you're looking to get cited within ChatGPT, if you're ranking well in Google, it doesn't always mean that SEO agency that you might be using is great with LLM SEO or AI SEO or GEO or answer engine optimization that some people call it. It might be that they are great at doing good quality on-page content, but they're not getting that third-party corroborative source at repeating who you are, what you do, why you're freaking brilliant, and why you're better than competition. It's done in a very specific way with the micro semantics. It's done in a very specific way of what sources are being used on those third-party sources. Make sure you head on over to searcheroo.com, fill in the form, and hopefully Searcheroo can do you an AI reputation tree that helps you get cited and recommended more within ChatGPT. Carl, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Cheers, mate.